I really would like the listeners to understand that when we open up our spirituality, we're not going to get from day 1 to day 2, like, ta-da, this is it. This is what you'll be doing. This is how you'll be doing it. This is exactly step by step. The steps are there. Don't mind you. They are there. However, it is about surrender, because at the end of the day, we have a choice to make.
So there's like two versions of massage therapist. There's three versions. We won't talk about the third version. So the two versions. One is like, I will work on the body, loosen the knots. And the other version is, I will work on the body. I will see where things are stuck and I will get them unstuck. And so I'm talking with this young lady about her session. I have lunch and then we walk outside. We're leaving the restaurant. And on the sidewalk, there's this little lizard, which she has a big affinity with.
Mm-hmm.
And the lizard's not moving. And we're just staring at the lizard. And we notice something that's a little odd, like something a little dangling. And I'm like, what is that? A little piece of poop falls and the lizard rushes off. He's done. I'm like, well, let's review, shall we? Let's just review for a moment.
This is where you come in.
Right.
And it's just fascinating to see. And one thing, you mentioned all of these rituals, and we can talk about it later on as well, but the one thing he loves to do is jump on us when we're hugging. It doesn't matter if I'm hugging my son, if I'm hugging my daughter, if I'm hugging my sister, if my sister's hugging someone else, anyone in this house, if anyone is hugging, he will jump on you and he will be barking at you. Like,
Yeah.
you want to come in? You come in. It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's such a energetic being
Yes.
that teaches you to find the calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode from Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. Today's guest is a soul who discovered his superpower by surrender, who discovered his superpower by understanding that what we perceive as human being, what is the truth, is only the perspective that we have allowed ourselves to see. I was going to say the limited perspective, which in some degree it is, but when we choose, and this is important, it's only when we choose to open up our horizons is when we get to see the bigger perspective. And I'm so excited for this conversation today with Nick and hear how he expanded his perspective and is now living a completely different life. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Matina. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited for this conversation. I can't wait for our listeners to hear what is possible when we choose to open our horizons and really lean into what our body, our soul already knows is true, but the mind still needs time to catch up on. Before we step into that conversation, though, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Nick Musica, and I am an animal communicator, a psychic animal communicator, and intuition coach.
Beautiful. There's a lot of questions with that alone that I can step into. However, on this podcast, we always start with one specific question, which is, what was your loneliness or disconnection moment that has led you into the overflow that you're living today?
Yeah. Well, the animals showed up for me. I was told I was going to be talking to animals, and there was a few reactions I had for a couple different reasons, but the one that I talk about the most because it's most relevant is this feeling of truth around it, right? And not really understanding why you feel that way, but there's no denying the feeling of truth about it. And for someone to say, hey, I see a psychic saying, I see Dr. Doolittle, you're going to be able to talk to animals and it's going to be easy for you. And you go, oh yeah, that's true, right? Like that sounds nutty, right? And also I felt 100% true about it. And I didn't really know what to do with it. And so I was getting these experiences, the random encounter with a dog in Home Depot, a little energy exchange, having a conversation with a dolphin in Mexico, working with horses was a trip, so I was getting a bunch of experiences for myself but I didn't really like, there was no expression of it. And I felt my mental health just sort of going down, um, because of not acting on it. And part of it was this restraint of not wanting to really talk about it because it's not a normal thing to say.
What is normal nowadays?
Fair enough. Really good point. So like, so a little bit of a, like a, something in my throat, like just didn't want to talk about it. And at the same time, no choice but to talk about it. And so there was a speaking program that was in my universe, an executive speaking program that was in my universe for about 2 or 3 years that a buddy of mine introduced me to. And I had the benefit of going to a couple events, not as a 12-month participant. I didn't sign up for the program, but as a guest in some ways. And I thought it was great, but I didn't have a place for it. Like I just didn't feel like it was something I wanted to do, even though I was like, this is amazing. Like, don't want it. Right.
Right.
Until I realized, oh, that's exactly what I should do. And as soon as I wrote a rather large check to get into this program, I felt fantastic. I felt great. And that was and it's sort of like marriage, right? Like with marriage, you're like, I'm married, cool, done. No, the work's just beginning, buddy. Right? Like you're gonna learn things about yourself and your mate and together, and like life's gonna throw you some curveballs, and like you just the gun just went off at the starting line.
Right.
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 And now you get to figure it out. Congratulations on deciding, but now you get to figure it out.
Yep. And that deciding is already a whole journey, what you just shared, where there is that turmoil of, is this really true? Why do I believe it? And you have these questions. And you mentioned very briefly, like your mental health was going down. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was just, I- I'm not my dad was the psychologist, not me. So, this is not a clinical, uh, description by any means or account. But, some low level of depression was at play for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
The reason why I picked that up, Nick, is like, I really would like the listeners to understand that when we open up our spirituality, we're not going to get from day 1 to day 2, like, ta-da, this is it. This is what you'll be doing. This is how you'll be doing it. This is exactly step by step. The steps are there. Don't mind you. They are there. However, it is about surrender because at the end of the day, we have a choice to make.
That's right. Well, as soon as you decide, you step off this 3D plan of high school, college, maybe graduate school. And this was a little bit of the older school model. Like there's different models to follow today in terms of the career, but 30 days at company, gold watch, retire. Things are cool, right? Like and that is like my parents, and that was their roadmap. But like some version of that exists today. The conventional path, whatever that means today.
Yep.
But once you decide, there's this play, there's this interplay with the universe. As a buddy and coach of mine has said, you now have a deal with the universe, with the cosmos, and that's the dance you're playing. And that there's a lot of unknowns there. There's a lot of doesn't make sense, but follow the next thing that does seem to make sense, even if it's uncomfortable, because it's not an Excel spreadsheet where you get how many products do we sell in a day times 365 days at the rate of $10 a product, millionaire, right? It is not that. That doesn't mean this couldn't lead to that, right? So this could easily lead to that, right? But it's instead of the purpose being in that spreadsheet on that conventional route, there's a different purpose to this work that can be supported financially. That 100%, absolutely. And at the end of all of it, there's a real purpose that drives it. So when you get kicked in the pants, and you will get kicked in the pants, you have motivation, will to get back up, because there's inherent motivation, right? There is proof that is being shown to you. There are breadcrumbs that you pick up.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so here you are. You heard from this person that you're going to be talking to animals. You got to be the Mr. Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And you are on this journey where you're like, okay, you made the decision. You're doing the course.
Mhm.
What happened next?
So a lot of things are showing up for me initially. And then, her name is Adelita. She, the medium Adelita, she's the one who said, you'll talk to animals, it'll be easy. And so I put quite a few, I put some obstacles in my way. And so like in hindsight, like it has to be really hard. And she was right at the end of all of it. I was like, oh, it is easy. She is right. I made it much harder. But I wasn't doing it right. So I signed up for this program, and I'm still like figuring out my world and what it even looks like, and details around it. And then a buddy of mine says, do you think you can do this for other people? Like actually do this for other people? And I said, I don't know. And he suggested going on to Nextdoor, which is like Facebook, except it's not people it's people in your neighborhood, right? Same conversations, same productive, also non-productive conversations.
Right.
And I posted, hi, my name is Nick Musica. I'm an animal communicator. That means I psychically communicate with animals. Click here for free 15 minutes. I had to know if I could do it, right? So I hit submit, and now I'm wondering, what the hell did I just do? What did I just say, right? I'm reading my post, I'm like, this sounds insane. This sounds crazy. And so I have two screens open on my bigger monitor over here. I have the Nextdoor website open, and I have a Google Sheet open, so I can see if someone's going to fill out this form.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the conversation, and it's at the time it was, Biden and Trump slinging garbage back and forth, the supporters of, like, who cares who the person is, but he's awesome. He's garbage. Like that was, and so you've seen that conversation multiple times, but now I'm seeing a polarized conversation that I started. And I'm like, oh, like I started something because people are going, what is this? This isn't real. And the other people chiming in, this is amazing. You should try it. Right. So I'm just seeing those conversations back and forth. And I'm tempted to go back in and sort of protect myself and, validate. And I thought, let me just see what happens. Let it play out. Because I already did. My role was the post, not to jump back in and protect myself. That's
right.
It's not what's happening right now.
Right.
And then I see the first row fill in, and all the information just drops in at once. It's basic information I asked for: your first name, your last name, the name of the pet, the age of the pet. Give me 3 questions, something like that.
Yeah.
And more than just seeing the row fill up, I felt the woman come through. I felt the intention to connect. All right, this is going to work. Okay. So my process is I talk to the animal on day 1, then I talk to the human on day 2. It's typically not, let's talk. Hey, Matina, let's talk about your dog now. That's not typically how it works.
Yeah.
For me. So I talk to the animal on day 1, talk to the human on day 2. And at the end of 15, 20 minutes, however we talk, she goes, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because my former animal communicator passed, and me and my friends are looking for a new one. Would you be okay if I sent you referrals? Oh, I don't mind at all. Right. So first one out of the gate, I'm wondering if I can do it. Right. Can it be done? Yes or no? Pass, fail. And so the answer was yes. Okay, great. All right. So now what do I get to learn along the way? Like where do I trip and fall? Where do I figure it out? Right. And so that was another, like, you don't even know the boxes you're checking, and there really aren't boxes, but like in hindsight, you go, oh, so I did this. Like you start to fill in the things that you have accomplished without understanding what you're doing at the time.
Right.
To look back at it and go, it sounds a little crazy, but it's working. It's working. This is cool.
That is so fascinating. I resonate with what you're saying, because when we are having this intention of serving someone else, it is not about us anymore.
Yeah.
And it really segregates that as to, okay, the intention is to serve this person in this way. And you really dealt with your human with, okay, let's just try it. We have a no, well, let's just try it. And a lot of people who are not completely open to the spiritual work yet, I want to say yet, because I know my listeners are curious.
Yeah.
They might be thinking like, how is this even working? How is this even possible? But this is the power of intention.
Absolutely.
What have you learned when it comes to the power of intention?
Well, that is the best summary I've heard of this entire conversation. And when I say this entire conversation, I mean all the possible things we could talk about in the spiritual realm, right? The power of intention. Absolutely, 100%. And so for me, the simple versions of intention of even just, dropping that post on Nextdoor, right? And now you're a little bit closer to what you're looking to do and really putting yourself out there to get mud on your face or not. But you're now in it. The other thing, and this was a big one for me with the animals, was there were two times that I had nothing going into the conversation. I had nothing. And I was like, well, like, now's not the time to cancel a session like that, because that could breed, oh, I feel uncomfortable, cancel. Like play that out enough. That's not going to do what you want to do. Right. So I showed up, and, it turned out for both cases, but it took me the second time to realize what was going on. For both cases, I realized the person isn't here for me to talk to their animal. That intention was never made. They're here because they heard something, read something, and they were curious about it for themselves.
Right.
Right. So how did this happen to you, Matina? Because I'm asking because I'm curious about myself.
Yes.
Right. Had nothing to do with their animal.
Nope.
It was the excuse for them to have a conversation with someone, which is fine. It's fine. But that was the learning of, like, the car just would not turn over. Right. I'm just like, oh boy, like, we're not going anywhere. Turn the car over. And then I'm like, time to get on the line. I'm like, I'm done. Like, car didn't even start. Okay. And then you step in and you learn things. So it's really, the intention has to be there. There's a book. My wife got me a book one day when we were flying. And she's like, I think you enjoy this book. She gives me this book by David Toomey. It's called The Kingdom of Play. It's all about animals. And in it, he talks about researching piglets. And there's these researchers studying piglets. It's in a controlled environment. And they observe these little piglets, babies, running at full speed and belly flopping. And then they get up and they run again, full speed, right? And it's a controlled environment. Like, it's a flat floor. Like, there's no corners. They're just straightaways and flopping. And they think it's a mistake. But it keeps on happening. And so they realize that, well, in the wild, there are no flat floors. There are corners. There are divots in the ground. There are roots. These little piglets, when running away from the predators, there's a very good chance they're going to trip and fall. Right? So the tripping and fall is going to happen. They're planning for the getting up. Fantastic. Yes. Who plans to get up? We all go, oh, I really hope this thing works. It's going to work. It better work. Right? These little piglets, when people talk about spirit animals, all the things, right? Like, yeah, red-tailed hawks, buffalo, those are formidable animals, right? What about the little piglets?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're going to go into a new venture, I mean, I hope it works out for you. I do. Chances are it doesn't on the first time out. You have to pivot. You're going to get disappointed. Things will fall apart.
Right.
And now the choice point is what? You get to stand back up and run fast again, or you can choose, I don't want to. And these little piglets show us plan to fall, but more importantly, plan to get up.
100%. That is a very key lesson that we all get to live. If you want it or not, if you're ready for it or not, we get to have that choice. Are we ready to stand up again? Are we ready to rise again? Are we ready to really own what our soul already knows? And you went on this journey which your mind was still catching up on, but your soul already knew.
Yeah.
So here you are, Nick, having these conversations with people, helping them along. What did it do to you, or how did it open up your own spirituality and your own journey in recognizing and learning things about yourself? Because what I have seen over and over again is anytime I get to be blessed to help a client, they're blessing me just as much.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is true. 100%. And so I mean, it's so silly. Like in hindsight, right? I was like, I'm definitely, this is so true. Like this is absolutely going to happen. And then I throw obstacles in the way. And also I have absolutely zero idea of what it looks like. And I have zero idea of what the information I'm going to get is. And this is after reading all these animal communication books, and I just love the stories. But like, I never really gave any thought to what information I would get at all. And I sort of have a template that shows up, a normal, shall we say, that shows up for me. Not all the time, but there is a normal in this in this non-normal conversation. And it sounds something like this. Someone will come to me with a 3D problem or a question. My dog is biting people when they come over. Can you tell it to stop? Or if I get a new couch, will my cat pee on it? Very specific to the behavior of the animal and really like what's going on with this animal, right? That's the perspective of the human.
Right.
And in the case of the dog was biting people because this young lady was angry. So the dog was mirroring the behavior about her anger, about her life choices, specifically her job. So that was the lesson there. And the cat, told me glass table. And I'll like write a laundry list of things, like no context. I'm like, this all sounds like gibberish. No idea what any of this means. And then I get to go, hey, Matina, tell me about the glass table, right? Like, and then I got to be like, okay, saying, tell me about the glass table because it means something.
Right.
And the young lady was like, I broke up with a boyfriend about a year ago, and I got rid of everything except for the one thing that we purchased together, which was the glass table.
Oh, wow.
Right. And she wanted to know would the cat pee on a new couch that so happens she barely sat on that her ex sat on a lot.
What?
Right? I know, crazy, right? So much fun, so much fun. And so I was like, animals, we're all animals, right? Like scorpion frog, if you know the story, right? Like the frog goes across the river, scorpion wants to ride, and the frog's like, what are you gonna like? That's a bad idea, dude. You're a scorpion, like, and the scorpion is like, well, if I sting you, we're both gonna drown, right? Like, just get me to the other side. I need a lift. And the frog's like, fine. Anyway, halfway through the river, the scorpion stings, and the frog's like, why'd you do that? And we're both going to drown. Why'd you do that? And he goes, well, because I'm a scorpion. Like, we are the nature of what we are, right? So will the cat react and pee on something? Maybe, right? But I would highly suggest getting rid of that glass table before you get a new couch, because we know there's something there. Mm-hmm. And so the lessons that show up, while people may come because, and I was guilty, right? My cat shits in the box and sometimes on the floor. He can't be this thing. Can't be. Because he chose that little body. It can't be a bit way bigger than that. Shame on me. So they show up, we show up with these very small views of the world. Yeah. And why does my cat poop in a box? And why is my dog biting people? And why is the cat peeing on the couch? And then we get this knowledge dropped on us. Right. And so for me, it was like, oh, like these little things have something to share, like really important things to share. And it's not just the animals. It's anything, as it was pointed out to me. It's anything with a life force. Well, what does that mean? Use your imagination, because it's all out there. It's all out there.
It is. What I'm hearing is literally the ability that animals or even plants have is to feel the energy of the space and the human.
Yes. That's so funny. Just this morning, I was doing a little meditation and for whatever reason, Esperanto. Do you know what Esperanto is?
No.
Like no one does. No one does. I worked with a guy 20 years ago, and he's like, Esperanto. I'm like, isn't that like an Eagle song? Or he's like, no, it's not an Eagle song. It's wrong. Don Henley maybe, and also it's not Esperanto. It's Esperanto. Very different. But it's like this universal language that a Polish eye doctor created, right? Like that we could all use this when we travel. That was the idea. It clearly never took off. It just never took off. But I was like, energy is the universal language between people, between animals, between plants, between all the other things that we can communicate with. Energy is that universal. That is the true Esperanto. That is really what it is. And then on top of that, right, there's information, that energy, and so you could get by with just that. And when I say just that, I'm being, I just minimize it terribly because it is a lot. But then that could lead to other aspects and other types of expressions because it is the energy. So if you're open to the energy, then you can be open to the information in the energy. If you're open to the information in the energy, then you're open to overlapping energy fields. If you can overlap energy fields, well, what other energy field are you overlapping with? Right? Is it the tree? Is it the cat? Is it the person who passed? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's where the fun is, at least for me.
That is, sounds absolutely fascinating. What did you learn though from your own cat?
Oh man. Yeah. So, I mean, he really is that teacher who shows up, right? There was, about a year ago, here's one example. He's shown up a couple different ways and you're like, damn, like you were such a straight shooter. Like you just lay it out and you're just so good at this. He, about a year ago, my wife and I are talking about going back to the East Coast. We're originally from New York and New Jersey. And there's a contentious event that happened just recently there. And I was like, it's a bad idea to go back. Like there's nothing there for us. It's a bad idea. And I'm saying all this outwardly, but on the inside, I'm looking for how to make it work, right? Like how do I support, quote unquote, support my wife badly? Because it would lead to self-sacrifice. It would lead to returning home worse than when we left, right? There's no win. There's just no win. But I'm still trying to figure it out on the inside. My energy was not matching my language at all. So she's hearing something, but my cat is feeling something different. And so we break up the conversation, me and my wife. It's perfectly fine, level-headed conversation, but I'm also being firm verbally and being wonky energetically. And break up the conversation, but I'm internally stewing because I want to be supportive in as it turns out, a non-supportive way. And so I'm tooling around on my guitar, and the case is open, and Chucky, the cat, my cat, gets in the case, which is not abnormal, but this is abnormal. He starts to scratch. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, if you gotta go into the cat box. What are you doing? Gets out of the guitar case, goes around the corner. I lose line of sight of him, and I forget about him. Go back to tooling on my guitar. About 5 minutes later, my wife yells from downstairs where our living quarters are, sleeping quarters are. She says, "There's on the bed." And I go, "Whose side is it on, Joel?" "It's on your side." So the next morning I go, "Can we talk about this?" And he goes, "Oh, it's emotional." He goes, "What's in it for me? What's in it for us?" And when I thought, because the next thing is what's in it for them, right? That makes sense in the sequence. There was no energy tied to what's in it for them. What's in it for me? What's in it for us? What's in it for them? Nothing. So the lesson of you're right. There would have been self-sacrifice. There would have been these other things, and you can't do that anymore. That is not how this works anymore, right? That time is gone. That has got you from here to there. There's new things that have to happen here for this to be accomplished. So and animals will use pooping as a means of communication. It's happened more than once. I mean, not just with him, but out in the world, I've talked to folks and just came back from a conference, and there was a young lady who it's called Healer. So there are a bunch of folks, psychics and biohackers, like just all, super cool. And I was talking to a young lady there who I went out to lunch with, and she was talking about her session she had with a massage therapist. And so there's like 2 versions of massage therapist. There's 3 versions. We won't talk about the 3rd version. So the 2 versions, one is like, I will work on the body, loosen the knots. And the other version is, I will work on the body. I will see where things are stuck and I will get them unstuck, right? These emotional things we carry with ourselves. And this woman was the latter. And she told this young lady that I was having lunch with, She's like, what are you holding on to? That was the question. That was what you got, right? And so I'm talking with this young lady about her session. I have lunch, and then we walk outside. We're leaving the restaurant, and on the sidewalk, there's this little lizard, which she has a big affinity with.
Mm-hmm.
And the lizard's not moving. And we're just staring at the lizard. And we notice something that's a little odd, like something a little dangling. And I'm like, what is that? A little piece of poop falls, and the lizard rushes off. He's done. I'm like, well, let's review, shall we? Let's just review for a moment.
This is where you come in.
Right. Well, let me help out here if I can. You were asked, what are you holding on to? And I don't know the answer. But that little lizard just literally showed you to let go of this. I mean, the way these guys communicate with their own devices, and we just brush them off. And I'm guilty of it too. I did it too. But they are, just because they chose these little bodies and they're not able to articulate in ways that we can, and because we have credit cards and thumbs, doesn't necessarily make us the smartest thing on the planet.
Nope.
Just doesn't.
Far from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so fascinating to hear what is possible and how animals will come into our lives when it's time. I'm not an animal person at all. And I'm saying that very loosely. Because 2 years ago, my sister came to live with us, and my daughter had already wanted a dog. And I'm like, no, I have 3 kids. I can't. Here's my sister, and she and my daughter team up for Christmas. Because now you cannot say no. They're like, can we have a dog? It's like, that's fine. However, I'm not going to be the one taking care of it. I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom. I can only do so much. And I literally put all the responsibility of this little guy that was coming into our home on my sister. And now we are 1.5 years in, and every day he teaches us something, and he behaves differently with me than when he's with her. And it's just fascinating to see. And one thing, you mentioned all of these rituals, and we could talk about it later on as well, but the one thing he loves to do is jump on us when we're hugging. Doesn't matter if I'm hugging my son, if I'm hugging my daughter, if I'm hugging my sister, if my sister is hugging someone else, anyone in this house, if anyone is hugging, he will jump on you and he will be barking at you. I'm like,
Yeah.
you want to come in? You come in. It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's such a energetic being.
Yes.
That teaches you to find the calm in the chaos.
Yeah. You have a really nice way of phrasing things. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to just sit still. We want to be doing. As human beings, we want to do things to prove ourselves, to showcase ourselves. But it's in the stillness and in feeling the energy of things that we're like, why does this feel odd? Why does this feel good?
Yes. It's in those stillness moments. And sometimes they're moments, and sometimes there's meditation, and sometimes it's how you walk through the day, because that's ultimately where we want to get to, right? Mm-hmm. But breaking that down just a little bit, I mean, sometimes there's moments, and for whatever reason, like washing dishes for me is a very quiet time in my brain. And I will just every once in a while get something that comes through. Now I got to take off my gloves and put the dishes down, and I'll go write this thing down. But in that stillness, in that quiet, is where the information is when we're available to be communicated with. And it is, I would suggest to people to interact with that information that comes through, because it is a conversation. There's communication that's happening there. But the trick is And this definitely is oversimplification. The trick is the quiet. The trick is not having the noise come in and being able to maintain that space so that you and I, it'd be almost like if you introduced the conversation at the top of the podcast and I just blah for 30, 40 minutes, whatever. And then we get off and I go, that was such a good conversation. You didn't say one word edgewise, right? It wasn't a conversation. It was good monologue, Nick, right? But back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I was listening, right? And there was an exchange and you were listening. There's an exchange. But you have to pay attention, right? You have to be open, available for it, available.
And availability is very key here. It is in everything you do. And meditation, as you just said, is not about us sitting still and not doing anything. You can do the dishes. It's about the mind having the space to have a message come through, to have an insight come through, to have, oh, that's a great idea. Why would I do that? I don't know. It feels good. I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And just take that action.
Yes.
And see where that leads to.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing. Right. Conventional path, non-conventional path, nothing is guaranteed. Also, if you do nothing, here is what is guaranteed. Absolutely nothing will happen. No good will happen. And so if you don't like what you're getting right now, if you're unsatisfied with what it is, you have to stop and wonder, is there something I can do differently? And that question alone could probably bring a little bit of ill feelings.
Right.
And that may or may not be, depending on the person, depending on the situation, there's a bunch of factors in there. That may or not be the signal of that discomfort is the wake-up call.
Yep. You had to do it. I had to do it. We all get to choose if we step into it or not.
Yes.
I am loving this conversation. Again, I'm so appreciative of you being so open and honest about how you went through your own, I must say that the humanness of things, where it's like, is this real? Is this not real? This feels good. This doesn't feel good. Am I going to try it? Am I going to make it harder for myself? Am I going to make it easy? Like all this back and forth is required so that the human doesn't question anymore and we actually get to live and be the person we're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a little ritual on this podcast where the previous guest has left a question for you. And once we're done recording, I'll ask you to leave a question for the next one. So the question I have for you, which is perfect, is if there were 3 ingredients that would uphold love in your life, what would they be?
3 ingredients that would uphold love in my life?
Yes.
3 ingredients. Oh, what a lovely question. Oh man, I wish I'd prepared.
No, this is perfect. And I'm telling you, it always ties back into the conversation somehow. So I'm curious.
Yeah, the idea of kindness is showing up for me. You never know where someone is and what they're doing and why they say the things they say. And so reacting to whatever those things are is very triggering and not in the opposite, not out of kindness or compassion.
Right.
I'm taking this animal companion doula course right now because I talked to a lot of people whose animals have passed, right? And I just want that to be a little bit part of my bag.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of this passive activeness and the way that people phrase it, there's a lot of phrases and some of them are overused. And I think one of the overused, also helpful phrases is holding space.
Mm.
And so in this context, like it's a real version of that phrase, right? Like to not want to jump in and go, hey, Matina, but have you ever thought about this as you're sitting there in your grief, right? It's really just like being open to hearing the other person and available for that other person. So I'll contribute to the overuse of the phrase holding space. And then, I think the last bit is, and I think a lot of us need to be reminded of this, because there is an aspect to this work which is otherworldly. It is fun. It is escapist. And so to bring all that down into action is necessary to move the ball forward.
Right. Practical, yet also energetic is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Where you have the action, where you're holding space, and where you have kindness and compassion as the center of things.
Yes.
I love that. Love that. I don't know about the listeners, but I have had so much fun hearing this story and really feeling into what it means to actually stand still, actually ask yourself the better question and choose differently. So thank you so much, Nick, for your openness and sharing what you shared today, because I know those who resonate will definitely seek you out. And mind you, all the information about Nick is in the description. So please reach out and connect with him to see what message comes through, what insight comes through for you when it comes to your animal. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you, Matina.
Also, before I end the conversation, Nick has beautifully agreed to do a special discount for those who feel inspired. So you'll find that discount in the description as well, which is overflow, or getting some little gift for you to get the insight your heart and soul knows it can and is ready to receive right now. Thank you once again, Tim.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Till next time, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope this episode has helped you to feel less alone in finding tools towards a life which is overflowing with love and purpose. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach more individuals who are seeking healing and personal growth just like you. And don't forget to take a screenshot and share your aha moments on your Instagram stories and tag me, Matina. See you next week. Take care.